Hello and welcome to Alternative at Radio Cardiff. I'm actually here with the owner and proprietor of 147 Club, which is the club that we heard about through Blue Evolution and Di McDonald, which is a video is actually out there at the moment, isn't it, Tom?
Yes.
So, what we're going to do now is we're actually going to find out a little bit about the club itself, which is based on City Road down in Roath. And we're actually here with Terry Matthews.
Hello, Terry. It's so good to have you on the show today. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Cool. So tell us, tell us a little bit about the history of 147.
It started some time ago with a dream of mine. It started with American Pool, which wasn't in Cardiff at the time. So we brought it to reality, and it just went from there. And it's been a hobby come job come everything else ever since, you know.
And you mentioned you were big on live music and one of the first live music venues around Cardiff. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So, I mean, how did that come about? I mean, where did you get the idea from?
It's just a general thing that materialised by what we'd done. We used to play music then, like record music and stuff, but we always lacked that bit of artist. So the very first one was the Elvis Presley of Cardiff, I called him, with his Tommy Parry. And if he's listening today, he'll have a big grin on his face. And he was the Elvis of the day. And he sang here for many, many years, every Friday night.
Okay, have you had many other acts at all that have come in that have then made it somewhere else? Or
yeah.
Other than Blue Evolution?
We support all acts of Cardiff, and if you're a musician, you would know more about it than if you were just a listener. Because it seems to be a musician's place where they come after they do a gig and have a couple of beers and chill out and then go home.
So how many nights a week, when obviously before the whole lockdown situation, how many nights a week were you having live music?
We were doing roughly about 4 nights a week, regular. We also do a little thing on a Tuesday before Tony puts up the Hope and Mike night, and that's called Mind Your Music. And I'm a big fan of this because we started it, and it's all about mind and special needs. And we bring them in, they come in, quite a few of them, and they learn to play, listen to music, look at the lights, and it's very rewarding.
That sounds absolutely amazing.
That's a very, very nice thing to do as well. And how's that gone? I mean, have you had many people?
Strength to strength. Even now, they ring me. Some of them will text me. I keep in touch with them.
So is there any big stars coming through?
Well, one boy in particular, his name is Simon Richard. He'd be listening, and he'd have another big grin on.
Hello, Simon.
Big shout out to Simon.
And he came in originally with his mum and dad, and he had to be brought. And over the years, he's learned to play the drums, he's playing keyboard, and he goes everywhere on his own. Sadly, his mum and his dad have left, but he lives in some sort of care home with other people. But he's out and about everywhere in Cardiff. There's a live gig, you'll see Simon there.
Might be worth having a chat with Simon on the show.
Definitely. We'll get him on as well. So just come back to the bar as well. Like I said, I didn't really know about 147 Club. Whether that might be my fault a little bit.
I think.
Yeah, okay, it is. But let's rectify that for me and anybody else that's been silly enough to walk past the place. So, I mean, 40 years you said you've been going, and then you've gone into sort of live music as well, coming from the sort of the pool background, wasn't it, the American Pool? And what's the biggest challenge that you've had since trying to get a live music venue up and running as it is?
The licence. It was a nightmare. It took me 5 years.
Like the alcohol licence?
No, the licence to sing music and alcohol.
Oh, right.
And the way we were doing things, it was a little bit too advanced for them, and it kept putting me back, but I never deterred. We carried on.
So perseverance just got it going. And you mentioned you built this place.
I built the bottom bar. We dug that out, and if you ask any boy in Roath, I made him carry bricks down.
Fair enough.
And made everyone dig.
So obviously we've all gone through a pretty tough time at the moment, especially the live music venues and the live music acts about COVID. So what's your thoughts and feelings with the lockdown and the way that the government has really treated those live music venues at the moment?
It's like we've been treated like lepers, that you've got to keep away from us, you mustn't come near us. It's very hard to swallow sometimes when a landlord's not just a landlord, a licensee is not just a licensee. They're the heart and soul of the party half the time. And it's their work and what they do. You go to the pub if you're depressed, you go to the music venue if you want to be happy, and all that stopped. And there's so many venues going to be suffering and going out of business because of this. It's incredible how many I know so far that have sold up and won't be reopening and they won't be out there.
So Yeah, I really hope they get things back up and running soon. So, I mean, what kind of precautions and things have you taken in here to make sure everything's safe?
We abide by all the rules.
I mean, have you got a plan of action for? Obviously, everything's getting released now. Well, when is it? The 9th? Is it? Which is Monday. So, have you got a plan of action of where you want to take the bar and how you're going to recover from this?
We'll have soft music on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Which we do every Tuesday. That's when Mind Your Music crowd come. We look after them. They enjoy what they do, and that's their night, Tuesday night. So we've never failed on that. Normally Tony would come on then, and then you'd have all the musicians in Cardiff coming down to do the open mic session.
Which is Wednesdays, is it?
That's on a Tuesday. Mind Your Music is from 6 till Upper State, and then from Upper State onwards till close, you'll see Tony and a lot of the boys here who play as a group, not as a band.
So how many people do you get in for those kind of nights? Do you always tend to get quite a full house?
It varies. I mean, you could never say you got that amount every single time, but we have so many regulars, you don't need the crowd.
Right, okay, so
They come along automatically.
so familiar faces all the time then.
Yeah, very much so.
As well. So I guess what would be the ideal situation then, coming out of this lockdown now with a bar that's playing live music? Let's just pretend that live music is going to start getting back on track, and we're going to be inviting the bands, especially through Alternative Radio Cardiff. We're going to provide you guys that want to sing out as well, like Mark Davis, who's actually been on the show. I mean, what is an ideal situation for you now, or plan of action going forward?
The plan of action is to have some sort of normality in what we do. We can't just do it one day and not do it the next. And live music, if it's done correctly, doesn't have to be near the crowd. You can be distance away from them.
Yeah, I massively agree with that. I mean, we've been thinking of throwing events, socially distanced events, maybe talking to the Motorpoint Arena. There's warehouses such as the Depot that's out there, some really large venues where you could actually have socially distanced concerts. So I remember that idea of, well, in my head, it's like a jazz bar, when you would sort of have sit-downs. There'd be like tables and it'd be quite posh. And then there would be sort of live music being played in the background. It's normally a piano or jazz flute if you listen to Anchorman or anything like that. But you could simply do something like that where you have a band playing or providing the music for your drinkers and your regulars and everything like that with socially distanced tables. Is that something that you think you could consider?
Without a shadow.
Yeah.
Any advance on not having it would be an advantage to every licensee and every music.
So it might be more of a case of a restructuring of how we put the live music or how we get the live music to the crowds rather than complete cancellation anyway, which is, I mean, it's all a bit of a mess, isn't it? It's been chaos, this pandemic. So
well, it's hit every part of industry, but it's really wiped out ours.
And have you had any support at all from the government or anything like that? Have you had anything? Even like a cheeky wink, maybe? I don't know. Have you had anything?
Yeah, it says I'm not eligible.
You're not eligible?
It's not a proper job.
So Terry, I've got to ask you, right, because you've had this place 40 years, what would you say is the biggest change you've seen in Cardiff and the club scene in those years?
A lot of great artists have come from Cardiff, and they've been the opportunity of going forward for them to sing, for them to do their music. We specifically like your music, whatever your music you like. We don't tell you what to sing. And that's a different venue to somebody who will go into a pub and say, I want you to do this song, that song, 45 minutes and get off and go home. We involve more in what their music's all about. And they come on marvellous after that because they concentrate then on the music that is for them, not cut too many covers.
So, do you quite often find, like, depending on what bands and artists you have in you, do they bring their own crowds along as well? And do you kind of hang on to some of the different people who come with different bands and artists and things like that after that?
Very much so. When they come in here and they see the relaxed atmosphere, the way it is run, and they come back.
So would you say that this is an ideal bar then for any musicians or artists that are out there, not just musicians, but maybe let's say live acts, because I actually know a particular comedian out there that likes to perform, to come here, try their new stuff out, try their new music to a crowd, with no restraints to crowd pleasing. For instance, they can just do that, practice their music, and get themselves in order, and they can use your bar as a platform for that.
Without a shadow.
Right, well, I mean, we'll send a lot of guys your way as well, because as we gather, quite a big playlist, isn't it? Yeah, momentum, but we've got a lot of amateur artists that are coming to us that are dying for somewhere to sort of get out and play and bring their crowds to them as well. So yeah, we can definitely get these guys across to you as well. And but talking about your son, he's a singer, isn't he?
He's very much talented. He's been brought up with music all around his ears, yeah. From the age of 11, I brought him in, yeah. He had no choice.
Fair enough. He's actually sat next to me as well at the moment, but we're going to have a separate interview with him because you're a singer and you've got some tracks for us as well.
Yeah, a few, a couple of songs.
Okay.
We'll do a few live, but
we'll get on that. Well,
that's what this place is about.
Well,
all
as we
live.
move on to speak with Dean now about his singing career, any more questions you've got then, Tom?
No, I think that sums it up for me. I think we've covered everything now. We've covered live music, we've covered the history of Cardiff, and we've covered...
Yeah, and most importantly, you guys need to find out about 147 Club located on City Road in Roath. Come and check it out.
Get down here on the 9th.
And also all the music, all the musicians and the bands out there, this is a place for you to sort of try new stuff and come out there and practice being a live act.
147.
Brilliant. So, Terry, thank you so much for coming on the show and letting us set up in your pub. So
you're more than welcome. As long as we can get live music back in the scene, I'll do anything for that.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's been great speaking to you.